it seems. There's gotta be more. Gotta be more.
Come on and take me higher, yeah. There's gotta be more. There's gotta be more. I wanna know beyond all the rules and even past the school. I wanna know more, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I need a higher definition. Higher definition. I've been searching for more. When will I find it? When will I see it? What will I do? When will I know? Take me higher. There's gotta be more. Gotta be more. There's gotta be more. I need a higher definition than what it seems. There's gotta be more. Gotta be more.
Take me high. Oh boy, Councilwoman Campbell still in that blackness, darkness. Hey, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Higher Definition Radio. Want to thank all of our guests for joining us. We are looking forward to this topic on first date deal breakers. I am excited about it, and that's why Marlon is leading it, because I'm too excited. I'll take us way left. Want to thank everyone for watching. We would love your comments on that. Now, we didn't get a lot of comments when we were talking politics last week. We had 4 mayors on. Yeah, everybody was silent. I guess y'all didn't want to go vote, but we want to thank the 4 mayors we had on last week, and looking forward to this show, First Date Deal Breakers. Miss Anitra, how are you, and how you been, ma'am?
Hello, everybody. I'm good. Yeah, today I just took a little break, but then I went to the gospel fest at Winthrop, so I had a good day. You know, you had some real singers there. You were there too, okay? It was so nice, but then I made it back for the show, so hello.
Marlon, that might be a good question. Is that a first place to take a date on the gospel fest? That's holy, and probably some white shoes there.
I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Miss Jessica, how are you, ma'am? And tell us how you been.
I'm good. Had a pretty busy day. Did a little bit of work, and now I'm here ready to talk about these first date experiences.
And Tatanish, how are you, ma'am? And we can't wait to hear from you. How are you?
I'm mighty fine, mighty fine. Mm-hmm.
Everything going well?
Yes, all is well. I'm just glad to be a part of this show. Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute now. You didn't change your whole demeanor. Said we just talked 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we were just
now.
talking. Yeah, this my camera voice and my camera look. Yeah.
That's another thing on these first dates, Marlon. We need to talk about.
Yeah. Who are you really?
Yeah. These profile pictures that look nothing like these folks. Let me get to you, Marlon. Good evening, Mr. Davis. How are you, sir?
Good evening, sir. Had an awesome week. Just happy to be on the show. Looking forward to the opinions here of our panel and also of the audience. So, like I said, I think this sparked a good debate online, and then we kind of talked about just kind of making it into a show. So we appreciate everybody's participation, and thank y'all so much for tuning in.
And Marlon, I'm gonna turn it over to you, sir.
Did we hear how your week was, sir? I see Everett was already picking at your countdown. I don't know if you noticed that, but
man, I ain't thinking about Mr. Abel. My week was good. Want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that have served. For most people know, I've lost 2 people that served with me in combat. So I always post their pictures and post stuff from them. And one of their moms is, I hate to say, a very close friend of our unit now, because we have pictures of her son that she's never seen. So she always reaches out. So other than that, very good week. Not too extremely busy, but overall a good week.
Okay, awesome. Well, of course, everyone that's tuning in tonight, once again, thanks again. Please like the High Definition Radio page on Facebook. We definitely want to thank our panel for joining us tonight. So thank you all so much as well for coming to share. I told Lamont as well, we're going to pick on the women, but we also want to hear from the men as well, as far as how some of your experiences from, first date and what are deal breakers or what's in and what's out. So we'll go through some things tonight. I don't know if Lamont had opportunity with the list, but I wanted to kind of jump out with the restaurant list. We call it Talk Deal or No Deal. If anybody was watching online, it was a certain female that said, this is a list of restaurants not to take a woman on the first date. And it just so happened to go viral. A lot of mixed messages on there. I don't know if a lot of y'all saw that, but some of the restaurants I saw on there, I was just like, okay, what's wrong with this? What am I missing out on? But obviously, like I told Lamont and the rest of the panel, I'm behind with the times. So I want to kind of go through that, with the panel here and just kind of see what their thoughts are as it relates to these particular restaurants. And like Lamont was stating earlier, what is okay, what is cool nowadays? Because a lot of these they named on here, some of them I thought were cool, but obviously they're not. So we'll start off with you, Nitra. I don't know if Lamont was able to put it up, but
I can't.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll name them. I'll name them quickly, Anitra, and then I want to hear from you. And I don't expect you to remember all of them, and you as well, Tantanish and Jessica, and also Lamont. And just kind of let me know. Like I said, Anitra, I don't expect you to remember all of them, but tell me what would maybe be in or out for you as it relates to restaurants. So, audience, I want y'all to listen to this list as well. So on this viral post, she said she would not want to go to these restaurants on the first day. Even one young lady said, don't pull out your credit card because that shows that you're broke. So Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, going to the movies, going to your house, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings, Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church, Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, movie night. Remember Netflix and chill? It's like, don't do that. Somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar for just drinks, a Waffle House, and sports events. Like I said, I know that's a long list. I don't expect you to remember them all, but I did kind of put them in the notes prior to the show. So, Anitra, when you hear some of those names, what pops out for you that may be okay, and which ones you would say, heck no, I ain't going there. We just met.
Well, on the first date, no, I don't want to go to no breakfast joint, no coffee date. So at night, please no IHOP. And then what we're going to the gym for, I feel like you can ignore each other at the gym. We're trying to get to know each other on the first date and stuff like, I think you mentioned a concert.
So, Anitra, what's wrong with a Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity on your first date?
That's what I'm saying.
What's that? Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity.
That's IHOP.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay. It just don't feel like a date. Like if I could throw on my sketches I got in the closet and some jeans, that ain't really no date to me. I want to go out and kind of be winding down just a little bit,
Okay.
So, yeah.
Lamont, I like the look on your face. I'm gonna get to you in a few, sir. I saw one of our listeners. I know Lamont put this up. Jimmy said all of those are good places for a first date. So that's a man's opinion. I want to hear from the women as well. Of that list, the Cheesecake, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, ice cream dates, coffee dates, Starbucks. I thought Starbucks was cool, but obviously it's not. Bowling, nightclubs, hookah bars. Ladies, if y'all are listening out there as well, what are kind of do's and don'ts, or what would you consider an ideal place to take you on the first date? And that's what I want to flip next with you, Anitra, after I hear from your counterparts here. So Miss Campbell, and then I'll go to you, Jessica, and then Lamont. I love your thoughts. What are you thinking about that list, Miss Campbell, as far as places that you would go? Are any of those off limits for you?
I will go to every last one of them. I will put my clothes on and go sit right at IHOP, his house, his aunt's house, his brother's house, his pastor's house. We can go to the gospel fest because I'm trying to figure out when men start asking women on dates again. Not these men that's been jumping in my inbox. They ain't trying to go on no date. These men ain't talking about no date. They talking about coming over there at 2:00 in the morning. What you doing? Sleep with my pajamas on and head wrapped up. So what I'm saying is, I think if a man puts forth the effort to ask you on a date, then you need to establish some type of protocol. First of all, hey, I just want to know how I'm supposed to dress. Are we going to be? My cousin said Taco Bell. Fred, I'll go there too, and I get me a whole combo, with an extra soda if I'm real thirsty. So
Whoa, that's crossing the line. But go ahead.
I do. I think that because it takes a lot for a man to ask a woman out on a date, or a lady to ask a man out on a date. Let's flip it around. I think you should be willing to go wherever to accommodate first date. But the definition of a date is actually a social or romantic appointment.
Okay, break it down.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere. You can meet at a coffee shop. I don't think the first date a woman should be expecting, man, oh, if he don't spend at least $150 on me, he don't take me to Del Frisco's and all this, I don't want to go. Well, ma'am, he shouldn't be taking you out. You can't be spending money on somebody like that and you don't know anything about him. That's just me.
I like you keeping it real, Miss Campbell. I love it. Miss Jessica, we'll go to you. Hopefully she done warmed up she was sipping a tea or something early on. So hopefully she's warmed up for us. So Miss Jessica, over that list, once again, I expect you to remember all of those names, but what are maybe some do's and don'ts for you as you kind of heard some of those places?
Well, I would pretty much go to any of those places except for somebody's house, because people look crazy nowadays. I'm not going to no fast food restaurant because I really don't go to them on my own.
Lord.
I ain't going to McDonald's, Lamont. I'm not going to get no supersized combo. I'm not going to do that because I don't do that when I take myself. So I'm not going there.
Okay.
And I wouldn't want to go to a nightclub because I can't really get to know you. Everything's going to be loud. And I ain't going to the gym just because I'm not going to the gym. When I'm going by myself on a day, I'm just not going to the gym. But I would go to any of those places. I'm like Miss Campbell, like, this your first date. You don't even know, are you worthy of Del Frisco's? Like, I'm not just going to spend all my money for no reason.
Right. Okay. Lamont, I've been waiting on you to kind of sum this list up. And what are your thoughts? Because as the ladies were speaking, you couldn't even hide your facial expression, sir. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'm going off social media. I think it's some too high expectations out here in this world. I see a lot of Del Frisco's, folks driving to the beach, folks doing all kinds of stuff and probably can't afford to do the stuff they're doing. And I'm with Jimmy on this first date treatment, 5-star experience to make it seem like you got this and that. But on the expectation side, on the other end, act like, oh, I can't believe you expect anything from me and I took you to Del Frisco. I think, there's a world we live in where maybe these expectations that I say women putting on men, because men ain't just doing this on their own. A guy take you to Waffle House if he could. Women are putting these expectations. They got to go to all these nice places in order to be liked or in order to show something on Facebook. So it's a little too much, man.
Okay. And Nature, I'll round back to you. So what would be your idea of a great place that someone could take you that maybe you would be impressed on the first date to say, hey, maybe this could go a little further? Of course, maybe conversation, you kind of get into that. But when they first give you the idea, I want to take you here. What is Nature's idea of first date?
I'll just go to like places. I'll go to Applebee's, any place. Y'all went on the high end. Del Frisco's. I never even heard of Del Frisco's or whatnot.
That's Lamont. He bougie.
Yeah, that's the real high end. I do a lot of cooking, but when somebody asks out on a date, the first date, I would even offer, I'm like, we can go Dutch, because the whole point is trying to see if we can have chemistry or we're gonna have a second date. So I'll ask, but I think the men sometimes are so macho, they don't want you to reach in their pocket and pay for anything. So I'm gonna order what I want to order. And if anybody knows me, I'm not really a steak person. I order something like chicken or fish or whatever. That's not that expensive. But I at least want an entree with 2 sides and maybe a glass of wine.
Hey, Lamont, you want her meal presented to her, Lamont?
Yes. 2 sides.
Lamont didn't even want me to get 2 drinks at Taco Bell.
No upgrading. First date ain't no upgrade. No.
Now I got to do a small combo. I'd be dog.
So I'm
Say
still
no buffets. What's wrong with a tray, Deidre? That's fancy. When you let
No.
your woman carry her own tray, that's fancy.
No, don't take me to no buffet. Mm-mm.
exactly.
See,
Jackie
look
kept-
at all these rules. What is left then?
Right.
I'm not
So-
going to no Golden Corral on no date.
So okay, Jessica. So what's your idea of first date? Like what is acceptable to you? I know you kind of hit on some of that prior, but what would be acceptable that you would be like, okay, this is a good first date?
Any basic. I can go anywhere. I just don't. I'm not going to fast food because I don't eat fast
Anywhere
food.
but a buffet. See what I'm
I'm
talking
not
about?
going. Wait a minute. I'm not going to Golden Corral because I don't want to go nowhere. Everybody been breathing on my food. I'm not going on no date where I don't take my own self. That's my rule. If I don't eat that on the normal, then I don't want to go on the date. When me and my husband went on our first date, we went 2 for 20, and he told me if he liked me at the end of the day, he would pay the bill. So
Wow.
he set the expectation from the beginning. I was fine. We was gonna go Dutch, but he was like, "I pay the bill if I like you at the end of the day," and I respected that. And we were there forever. And when we talked, we had conversation. That's why I say it doesn't necessarily matter where you go. I just don't want to go nowhere I don't take myself. And I disagree with you, Lamont. Men set standards too. A lot of men don't want to go to certain, like for instance, my son will not eat at Applebee's. He's not going to no Chili's. I don't know where he got it from, but he's not taking nobody on a date there.
He got that from women. Think about this: the same guys that live at home with their mamas, the same guys that borrowing their girlfriend's car, the same men that's barely making. All of a sudden, they ain't came up with a bright idea. Hey, I want to take you to Del Frisco. Nah, they getting this from women.
No, my son don't live with me. He got his own car. He got his own bills. He looks at Taco Bell. I mean, he looks at Applebee's and all that as like a Taco Bell. Applebee's, Chili's, Olive Garden, all that to him is like McDonald's. It's like
you ain't messed them up.
Wow.
You ain't messed them up.
Could be possible.
All right, Ms. Campbell, what would be your idea of first date? I know you kind of mentioned some places, but what to you would be okay as far as that was a good idea. I'm glad he came up with this.
I'm okay chilling with a dude at his house on the first date. I'm okay with going and having a drink at a restaurant, maybe meeting at the bar, something casual. And I don't mind going Dutch. I don't have a problem going Dutch for a meal. I think that that's fair on the first date.
Wow, y'all are exception to the rule on this panel. Where you find these women?
Marla.
That ain't
Now,
the real
Marla,
world, what y'all saying.
listen, but this came from experience and from growth. You got to understand now, if you want to, y'all need to do the older version and the younger version. You get you some 20 to 30-year-old women on here, this conversation gonna go left real quick.
Facts. You're right.
So you're dealing with more mature, grown, educated women that we don't really want dudes, getting on the phone with his homeboy. Man, I took that girl out to Del Fresco and she ate that whole big old steak by herself and all the sides. We talking about women that are poised. Now, when I was in my 20s, yeah, Outback was like top dollar. I wanted to go to Outback so I could tell my friends I went to Outback. And so a lot of this is the young ladies now and older women. We want to do stuff that we can post and tag where we are so people will feel like where he takes me to equals the value of what I am as a woman. So if he takes me to Del Frisco's on my first date, then I'm like, I'm 5-star. But if he take me to Waffle House, then I'm like a 1-star. We go by, oh girl, I can't believe he took you there. Who is he? We do everything for show. Because back in the days, who was you telling that he took you somewhere to eat? Nobody, because we had but pagers. Back in the 90s, we just had pagers and car phones.
Right.
So I think it's basically we want to go to these places so you can tag it, put it in on your Facebook, and get views and likes. So I'm good with just chilling at his house, having a drink, talking. But I'm just a person that want to feel a vibe, because if I don't have a good vibe with somebody, I most definitely want to break bread with you at a nice restaurant or at a cheap restaurant. I just want to know what the vibe is like before I step out and start wanting to date and go on an actual date.
And Lamont, you mentioned something really interesting, man, as far as starting out with these high price places and something that most men and women couldn't just continuously eat at these places, on a regular basis. So, in your opinion, sir, I know prior to the show, the young ladies were talking about the pressure put on the man, but don't you think that would be starting out setting false expectations? Ladies, I want you to think about this as well, where you are going to somewhere that's way off the chain, where you typically wouldn't eat it all the time, trying to impress someone, just like everybody does at the beginning of relationships. And then you can't keep up this facade. But you get the young lady or the young man used to this. And then now you like, hey, I can't continue to afford this. And stuff maybe just starts to go the opposite way. So I want the panel to think about that. But Lamont, what are your thoughts on that as far as starting out like this and trying to impress each other when you don't have it like that?
And one of the worst things you can have is being in debt. Like paying for stuff a year later. Like Christmas is coming up. Some folks are still paying on last year's Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think especially younger, we make foolish decisions. But I see a lot of older, poised, mature people making decisions financially with meals. I mean, you think about probably Del Frisco's, and let's say Ruth Chris, a name that probably universal, everyone knows. You're probably not going to get out of there without paying $250, $300. That's if you order drinks, appetizer. Like, how long does it take you to make that money? And what else your light bill can go toward? But I think we get so caught up in making that impression for folks that we do all kinds of foolish things just to say we've been there.
Right. And I'll come back to you, Anitra. What are your thoughts on that? Someone starting out with things like that they can't afford. And have you may experience that to where maybe someone tried to impress you and wasn't able to keep up this is who I am, this is what I have, and that maybe it gets revealed later on and maybe cause issues. Not saying this happened to you, but what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, but it just depends. Yeah, one person did do that, taking me to like all these restaurants trying to press it on, like, and I know with his job, he probably gonna be able to keep this up. So I was like, well, I don't want to go out every 2 weeks, probably once a month. And then they say, it was places like McAllister's Deli.
Reggie's Chicken Shack.
Yeah, my bill was too high. And you probably like, but yeah. But that's what I say. I'm agreeing with you. So if you're gonna put on a facade, then that's what you shouldn't do because it'll fall apart in the end.
Hey, Marlon.
Yes, sir.
Can we touch this right here? Stay in your lane. Don't start nothing you can't keep up. I appreciate this comment, but this goes for women too. This goes with nails, hair, makeup, all the above, right? Because folks will look like a whole different person on social media, and you meet them like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was you.
Especially with them filters, Lamont.
Yes. So, Everett said Red's Grill. Is that a first date location?
Hey, can you put up Jimmy's comment?
I can't put that up. This comment.
Yeah, I want the ladies. What is your reaction to that, ladies? Anybody?
You see them head shaking. That's why I couldn't put that comment up, Marlon.
Well, the reason I asked because being real, when guys, and I'm not speaking for all guys, but if a guy spends a bunch of money on a young lady, have you all are there expectations?
I'll cook
and is it deserving
meal for them, if they would like that,
That ain't what they.
I think that's equivalent because you got to put the love in the food. You got to go to the grocery store, you pick it up, you pay for it out of pocket, then you cook it. You got to make it flavorful so they can like it. So that's equivalent.
You see that rope-a-dope, Marlon?
Hey, and this the part where you get ghosted.
Yes, you ain't heard from her in a month.
Miss Campbell, what are y'all thoughts on that?
Oh man, back to this comment.
As far as the expectations, if a guy does it, because that happens a lot. I'm just being real. It happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be and then you got to know what the intent of the date is. Is
True.
this guy saying he want to get to know you because, I think you're interesting. I think you're kind of mysterious. So I want to get to know you. I want to take you out a couple of times. But if he say, hey, I want to link, let's go out to eat tonight. And then, you know what means. He pretty much let you know, I want to link. He ain't say nothing about the future. He just said, I want to link today, tonight, tomorrow when we go out. You pretty much know if he go and drop a whole lot of money, he not, when he say he want cookie, he ain't talking about the chocolate chip that come on the plate at the end of the night with the ice cream. That's not what he talking about. And so we got to be realistic. All these women be like, oh, I can't believe he just wanted to take advantage of me. Man, what you thought? He ain't tell you he wanted to get to know you. He ain't trying to date you. He wanted the cookie as dessert.
So you
Period.
appreciate the honesty, Ms. Campbell.
I like honesty. That's I like transparency at the beginning. I don't
Okay.
like people kind of beating around the bush and I want to hurt your feelings. No, dude, hurt my feelings and tell me if you just
You can
if you-
expect all you want.
if you look at if you're looking for a link up, tell me that at the beginning and let me decide if I want to waste my time and go eat with you. But I think a lot of times we're not doing that. We're like, oh, he gonna feed me and then let him drop me off. No, ma'am, you know he gonna snatch your wig off when you get out the car. Like, where you going? Come get. I want my $150 worth. People are not being realistic about that. And I
Yeah.
mean, that's why you look at Snap. That's why Snap got so many new episodes. Somebody took somebody out to eat, and they had another situation going on, and somebody snapped. Look at all them new episodes of Snap. They ain't on there just because they ain't got nothing else better to do.
Happens all the
All right.
time.
Miss Jessica, what are your thoughts? I know you was about to say something.
I was saying you can expect it all you want to expect it, but expectation and reality are two different things. And I'm gonna let you know before we go, $200, $300 you spend on me is not gonna get you nothing. Now, if you, like Ms. Campbell said, if you say, well, let's go out and link. Once you say link, I already know what you're talking about. So it ain't even no need for us to keep having a conversation because that's not what we're gonna do. $200, $300 to put out. I'll put you out. I'm gonna put you out my car. Yeah.
Oh,
It sounds like
Woo!
McDonald's first date there, Marlon. That
You say
sounds
what,
like
Lamont?
a McDonald's first date.
Yeah, I saw where my wife put up where Russell Wilson just booked an entire Waffle House for Sierra. Did y'all see that on social
Yeah.
media? Because it was her favorite place to eat. And she put in there Popeyes because that was one of our first dates. And we had an awesome time. I didn't, I didn't think nothing about it. We went there to eat. We was in Colombia and had an awesome time. It was just honestly about the company, because if y'all don't click, an expensive restaurant ain't gonna make it happen. I mean, let's be real.
But it making it probably a lot easier, Marlon.
You think so, Mark?
It probably make it a little easier.
It's gonna make it easier for you to be disappointed later. That's what it's gonna do.
I just feel like if you kind of put that stuff out there at the beginning, it makes life so much easier for everybody.
Yeah, just be honest.
Just
Marlon,
be honest and let everybody know up front.
Yeah, I think
Marlon,
people appreciate more honesty, but a lot of people can't do that. Go ahead, Lamont.
I want to ask you a question because as someone that has male children, like for my son who's in this dating world, I constantly tell him, don't get taken advantage of.
Mhm.
Don't be no young lady's fool.
Right.
Have you behind her meals, behind this and that. Like, don't be a fool. Is that advice you give as a man? And anyone that's watching, if you have male young children, is that the advice you're giving them? Or you're saying, let the world hit them wherever they hit them at?
I definitely do that, Lamont. Unfortunately, man, I can say for our sons, it's almost like they like to pick projects, like to where it's if someone has something going on for themselves and they're expecting more from them, they don't want that. They want the one that's going to need them and need stuff from them versus someone challenging them to be a better person, if that makes sense. And I don't know where that's coming from, but it's more of like that. I'm pretty sure y'all seen your children, whoever dating, I'm not saying they're better than other people, but you can meet people and see where they kind of at in life, if they're really trying to go anywhere, or if they're just from a day-to-day person versus what's your plan. But they tend to fall into more of that, Lamont, of I'm just living for the day, whatever happened. Let's just do this. And I don't know. I just don't get it. So, and of course, you know, Lamont, with children and the rest of the panel, you can give them all the good advice you want. These children are still going to do what they want to do, and they're going to learn on their own, just like we did. You know, I've been given some great advice when I was much younger, and Marlon still did what Marlon wanted to do and found out the hard way. So it's, you know, but I definitely agree, man. You know, we should definitely educate our children on, you know, as far as expectations and not allowing people to be taken advantage of. Even with my daughters, I would always tell them you're beautiful. So, you know, if a male come along and say that, they ain't losing their mind because they ain't never heard somebody tell them they're beautiful with these little, you know, weak pickup lines, you know, that some of these gentlemen can come up with. But what I want to kind of jump into now, and I'll start out with you, Miss Jessica, as far as on the first date, and we kind of talking about deal breakers here. Say if on your first date, your male counterpart got drunk, like really drunk. Second date, or are you done from there, or what are your thoughts? And I want to hear from you, Miss Campbell and Nitra, and then Lamont, if that happened with you with another female early on in, you know, our day.
Now, if he got drunk, I'm talking about like drunk. No,
Yeah.
we're not doing a
Wait a minute, how many levels of drunk we got? Is it?
But
I mean, yeah, what's drunk? Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
there's like drunk, but there's like a fun essence to drunk. Like you might be doing karaoke and singing or something like that.
Okay.
So you okay with him getting drunk?
But not drunk.
Or maybe the better word is tipsy. I'm okay with you being tipsy.
There you go. Okay.
But once you get drunk and you slurring your words and you rocking and rolling when you talk and stuff, no, we're not doing no second date. I don't need those problems.
Wow. Miss Campbell. Drunk? I think she done left on me.
She had like, That's
all right. I go to you, Anitra.
Okay.
Miss Campbell left on me.
Jessica, you can't come looking like Eddie Kane Jr. and stuff. So you up there nice like this, I wish kind of. Nah, but you know, did they get a little tipsy? That's cool. That's still, you know, but that's about it.
But so you said it will be if they got drunk, you okay with that or no?
Yeah, as long as
so
they.
What's Eddie King Jr. drunk? I guess I'm trying.
Tipsy, you know, like Jessica said.
Okay, Miss Campbell.
Struggling over there.
So, a deal breaker for me is him thinking about having a lot of women, and just so you know, I basically keep women. You know, it ain't never to get a woman, and I like them like this, and I don't like.
Like
she having some Chester County problems.
I gotta constantly be in competition because you're to this particular style woman. I don't like that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lamont, what is
can
your
y'all
problem?
Hear me?
We can.
Yeah, we just heard you. Yeah, you were coming in and out, but we heard you. Lamont, as far as women, you know, first dates, or you know, say if she get drunk or drunk, as Jessica would say, is that a major turnoff? Are you done at that point, or do you say, they was just having a good time? I may try them again and see if they do better next time.
I think any negative habits, like stuff that I can't, like true habits, like some people got some stuff that's detrimental. And it can be financial. If I see you out there blowing money on a first date, or you know, just spending buying bottles, service and stuff, that's a deal breaker. Like, so bad habits, and that should be in relationships too. Like, you can't socialize with people that are against like your moral compass or your social compass. You're only gonna ask for problems doing that, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, so start with you, Miss Campbell. Can you hear me okay?
Miss Campbell got that Chester internet.
Okay, I'll start again with you, Anitra, unless Miss Campbell can hear me. But my next thing would be, Anitra, what are your thoughts on, you know, on the first date, maybe that male is coming on too strong, like you ain't even gave him no signs that you attracted to him, and he's already jumped into, which y'all know, like y'all talked about jumping into the inbox, and you know, now y'all on the date, you just asked him who his peoples is, and he already talking about sliding in the home. So is that a turn off? Is that something you shut down? And
Yeah,
then maybe
shut
give them a better chance. But what are your thoughts on that? Would that be a deal breaker?
Yeah, shut it down. Somebody wanted me to meet his mama on a second date. Well, I guess we talking about first dates. So I'm like, meeting your mama. I don't even know you. But anyway, yeah, I shut it down because you just can't touch people. You don't know them. It's like a perfect stranger. You get what I'm saying?
Well, Marlon, that sounds like things have changed. Like that used to be the thing. Meet the parents.
Yeah, to meet the mama. You in there? I thought that's what y'all wanted.
Nope. Too early for
Do
that.
people go to church? Take their significant others to church anymore? I mean, is that the thing? That's also the go-to move. You start dating and then you take them to church. No.
Yeah, tell them you got saved yesterday. But Anitra, coming back to you, when you talk about when coming on too strong and shutting that down, because of course, a lot of men sometimes don't take rejection well. So how help us? How does that work? Like, how do you shut something like that down without, with maintaining that gentleman's integrity?
I'll get in my car and fly home. Remember, I'm in my own car on the first date. You ain't gonna have me in your car, so I'll go home. Peace.
Dang, Lamont. So she ghosted him. Now I guess that's what I just heard, right?
Yeah, block him.
Miss Jessica, what are your thoughts on that? Men coming on too strong on the first date and giving them another chance, or
No, we're not doing. We're not doing no more chances. I shut it down before we start. Like, I'm so upfront with people. Like, I'm gonna let you know we're not doing this, we're not doing that. And if you expect these top 4 things, we need to stop talking now. I'm not doing that. I'm not Biggie. I'm not giving you one more chance. We're not doing none of that stuff. I'm not. In my 20s, I went through too much mess. I hit about 28, 29. I said, ain't doing this.
And that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like you may have had that experience and where this kind of ends up at. So is that where that comes from, your past, where you're like, okay, I know what I want now. Yeah. I'm just going to be straight up front with you. If you can handle it, you can handle it. And how does that work for you?
It works good.
Because a lot of people don't want the truth. Let's be real,
I used to get called mean a lot. Well, you just gonna be single forever. You just gonna be single forever. And I'm like, no, because there's gonna be somebody that's gonna respect my boundaries, and then me and that person gonna be fine. My daddy always told me I was beautiful to him, and as long as I was beautiful to him, that's all that mattered. Like, I don't have to try to prove myself to nobody else. And then when I met my husband, he was so straightforward, and I was so straightforward that we just clicked. So I'm not doing none of that expectation stuff. I'm not doing none of that. You went to Ruth Chris and bought me a little medium rare steak, and now you think we in love and we gonna be. You're not moving in my house. You're not driving my car. I'm not co-signing. You're not getting on my car insurance. We ain't doing none of that. None of that, because that's what you see on these TV shows all the time. It'd be 2 weeks later. They fall in love. She was a nice young lady, and then she fell in love. Next thing you know, somebody's stalking you and somebody trying to kill you. Like she said, Snap don't have new episodes for no reason.
And Jessica, it's funny you mentioned that, Lamont. I'll have you speak, and then I'll love to hear from you, Miss Campbell. It's funny you mentioned that the types of things people do for people that they rarely know already, like you talked about signing for vehicles, just doing stuff that could have you tied to them for years. And you really don't know a lot about this individual. Lamont, what do you think makes people do that? You think we're just desperate for love on these first dates, or what do you think? I just don't get it.
I think a lot of people suffer from self-esteem issues, low self-esteem, and it puts them in compromising positions that they can't get themselves out of. And once you start open that gate about doing one thing, you let them drive your car, so you might as well, co-sign for him a car, or he ain't got
dropped off at work.
Yeah,
you don't even know where he at.
Low self-esteem. So I think the answer or part of it is low self-esteem. People get trapped up in bad spots that they can't work their way out of.
Okay, Ms. Campbell, what are your thoughts on the coming on strong and maybe you hardly even known that person and you hadn't really given anything that you're attracted to them, but they're, saying all of these things, and you're supposed to be responsive to it. How do you handle those things?
Just as Deirdre said in the comments, that's all in what you all set up at the beginning. It's all what you discuss in the beginning, what you're looking for. You pretty much know you shouldn't be going out on a date with somebody that you just started talking to yesterday. You probably want to spend more time talking to them and getting to know them. I think we move too fast on stuff. You automatically think you're supposed to go out to eat with them within 24 hours of meeting them or having a conversation. When you just gave them your number yesterday, talk to them a couple of days first before you decide y'all need to go out, before you start going to each other's house.
Marlon,
That's
let's
just
be
me.
real.
I
These women looking for free meals out here. Don't let her fool you. They looking for free meals. They getting the
I
number.
am.
Get a free meal.
I'm hope that's why I put my makeup and stuff back on to get on this call. I'm hoping somebody looking, and Wednesday he want to take me out to eat.
And Lamont, honestly, even some of my employees at work, even in our team's chat, I've seen them say that they wasn't even attracted to the meal, but they're not going to turn down a free meal.
Free meal.
Does that happen, ladies?
Why I'm trying to figure out why women feel like they got to have these men to do this stuff for them in order for them to get it done. Oh girl, I don't mind letting a man pay to get my nails and toes done. Oh no, boo. Or why you just can't get them done yourself and not even have to deal with Buster Joe. You don't have to necessarily be dealing with a dude just to get your stuff done.
Exactly.
What is going on with these women? Apples don't fall far from the tree. Where these ladies pick up these habits from? If you see your mama paying to get her nails done, then you think it's normal for you to pay to get your own nails done. Take that any way you want to.
But if mama got everybody else paying for it, that's what people pick up as well. So that's definitely a great point.
That's why these girls out here falling behind and running behind these married men, because they like the convenience of having him to do this and this to keep me quiet and to keep me happy, but I don't have to deal with them all the time. That's why I tell people, I said, you know what? These expectations are discussed at the beginning of the conversation. Somebody asks you for your phone number as soon as they call. Hey, how you doing? What you want? You trying to link? You want to get to know me? I ain't got all day. I'm almost 50. My time limited on this earth. Armageddon coming. What we gonna do? We trying to link or we gonna get married next month? What you want to do? Y'all need to start asking people up
keep it
front.
real. Yeah, I like that. So Jessica, on the first date, is there such thing, and Nitra, Lamont, and Ms. Cam, I want y'all to think about this. There's such thing as someone being too honest. Say on the first date, they just unload like everything that's going on with him. You like, my God, I wouldn't hear all of this. So is that a turnoff, or is that where someone, just really being open? Because, you have some people that are just honest to a fault. So what are your thoughts on that? Is that a deal breaker?
Yeah, that's a deal breaker. I mean, you can be honest, but I don't need to know your whole life story. Just give me like your top 5 issues. And then I can see what I can, like when I go to my doctor, she said, what's your top 5 ailments you want to discuss today? Give me your top 5 issues. We're going to talk about your top 5 issues. And then I can see, and I'm going to give you my top 5. And then we can see if it's going to work out. No, I don't want to know all your business. I don't know you broke your toe and all that stuff, and now you back on your car insurance. And no, I don't need to know. That's just too much. Just give me your top 5 things you got going on, and we can go from there. I don't need to know all your business. I don't need to know you.
All right, Mr. Nature, what are your thoughts? Too much? Is it wrong to be honest on the first date? Y'all say y'all don't want people to lie. So I mean, what do we do?
Let's see, I'm the one that tells all my business on the first date. I think I tell them my whole life story, probably on about a second date, and they go and they're probably like, oh Lord, I ain't signing up for that. So yeah, that's me. And I'm learning though, even at this age, I'm learning, I'm healing.
Ms. Campbell, I know you keep it real. So what are your thoughts on too
I'm
honest?
gonna go ahead and tell you up front the first date I don't want a link buddy. I don't need your money. I'm not trying to get you to pay my bills. I ask these same questions? Do you prefer, you like me? Who do you usually date? I need to know your sexual preference. Where do you live? Do you have your own place? Yes or no? You working? You been in the military? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't had some dudes chit chat with me, and then a week later, and they was like, "Man, when I was locked up, it was rough." Locked up where? In your room? Oh no, buddy. Mm-mm. No, sir. You a felon. Where we going? If I got a business trip, where you going? You can't even go half the places I go to because you can't stay there because of your record. No, you gotta ask all kind of questions. You like me, or you like you know this? You gotta ask a lot of questions. The first date, you're gonna have to be upfront. Do you usually date women a couple of months before you ask them for cookie, or do you try to ask them for it the first or second day? Y'all, we gotta stop wasting people time.
Right.
Y'all must be young. Everybody on here under 50. How old are y'all? Baby, I ain't got time to be wasted. I've already been married 23 years. Oh no, I might not have 23 more left. So no, Mm-mm. Tell me up front.
Okay, Lamont, is there such thing as being too honest on the first date? Is there some things you should hold back?
Man, listen, man. I don't need to hear if you pre-diabetic, if your blood pressure is borderline.
Yes, you do.
I snore in my sleep.
You need to know all that. You need to know all that.
And you're gonna find that out later on if you decide to stick with them anyway, right?
Well,
you need to know that the first date.
I think we can get to know each other on a surface level before finding about our family trees on a deep level. Like, I do think that's another thing. Sometimes we can overshare where people take advantage of us. That you're sharing to a point where people figure out how to get on your good side and not be themselves anymore. Their authentic selves. They're just playing to what you're saying. Like, folks post all this stuff on social media. It has to be easy to pick up someone because you know everything they like, their favorite colors, what they like to drink, where they like to go. So you just play towards that emotion of it. That's just a thought, Marlon.
Yeah, I totally agree, Lamont. But like I said, I think it's still kind of a catch-22 for that. But Jessica, I want to go to you next. And Ms. Campbell kind of already jumped into it, and it seems like you were agreeing with it when she even stated it. Someone that you meet and they do mention, first date that, I was locked up for 5+ years.
I was locked.
Because people can change, right? I mean, and think about this too, y'all. We have reality shows that are huge with people that date people in jail, in prison, right? We got all this married at first sight and stuff like that. And I've seen people marry people that are in prison. And, and I don't want to say you just throw people away because they got in trouble and say they can't change. But what are your thoughts on that, Jessica? That's if they reveal that to you, is it where to you like, are you going to want to know what was the crime? Or are you just going to be like, oh, you've been to jail, I'm done?
I'm going to want to know what the crime is. Because if you're a felon, like Ms. Campbell said, where we going to go? Now I want to go somewhere. You can't go nowhere. You got to go down there and ask your PO. You got to get your paper signed. I don't have time for all that. Now, I'm not saying people can't change now, because you could have did something back when you was 18 and or 21 when you first, and now we in our 40s. That's different. But if you just went to jail like 5 years ago and caught a felony and you over 40, what you doing? What you doing? I don't need them problems. What we gonna do? Now we can't get no house. We can't do nothing. We're going to have unnecessary struggles in our relationship based on things that you've done. Because once you get labeled a certain way, once you get certain things, once you get that felon on you, you limited to what you can do. Now, I'm supposed to sit there and look at you all the time because you can't go nowhere. And now you want me to be stuck with you? I'm not going to be stuck with you. Now, you
Huh?
She ain't said love no when I'm stuck with you.
Because we never got to the love because I'm not going there. So we never got to the love.
You made that decision right there on that first date.
Like you got if it's an old, something long time ago. But if you over 40 and you got some 1997 felon type crimes that you did in the 20s, what we gonna do? We're not on the same path. We ain't gonna think. What we gonna do?
Marlon, some of the best pastors I know found the Lord in prison. So I can't go along with this.
Hey, it's to each his own though, and that's why I'm asking. Is that a deal breaker or not? Because like I told you, Lamont, it's a lot of people out here that date inmates and wait on them to get out of jail, and they get married, and surveys have shown that typically 70-80% of those don't last, afterwards, but people still take that chance. Anitra, what are your thoughts on that? First date, somebody tell you they got 5 years for stealing chicken nuggets. What you gonna do?
I agree with Jessica. We'll just have to end that because I like to travel too. I
What
have
if
my
they're not a felon? Just got locked up for misdemeanors or something.
Oh, well, if they're not a felon, we'll check more into that. But if they steal in that's an integrity issue. I don't know because I don't steal. And if you stole once, you might do that again, Well, especially while I'm in the store with you, or they might think I'm the getaway car if you up in and then you come out there and the next thing you know, you done messed up my life, So yeah, that's a serious matter right there.
Wow. Ms. Kim, I know you kind of touched on it. So any other thoughts on that as far as inmate number 456?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not saying I wouldn't give a guy a chance, but I think that that's something he should disclose early on. I just want to let you know one of the reasons why you never really saw me around and stuff like that is because I've been in the pen for about 20 years. And I usually will say, "Well, what did you do?" And he was like, "Well, we didn't mean to kill so and so, but after we robbed so and so and so." Oh no,
Woo.
no, no. And that's the kind of people that ask me what I'm doing at 3 o'clock. Wait, that ain't what we're talking about. That's all I gotta say. You need to tell people just, "Hey, how you doing?" "Fine." Just so you know, I've been to prison. Just go and tell me in the first 4 or 5 sentences of your text. I don't let me know. Do I want to go further from there?
Hey,
Because
you
I
got
don't
my
have
face
time.
hurting tonight. Lamont, I know your brain is everywhere, brother. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't know about that, Marlon. Like, if we're getting to know each other, that should like if I'm listening to this, I'm supposed to tell you all my diagnosis. Yeah, I'm on the obese line, so the doctor told me I need to cut back on. When I was 15, I stole some chalk. Like, that's a little questionable. If we taking it this far on the first date, now come on. Because if you like me, right? And what comes with me and what comes with everyone is baggage. Like, we all got baggage somewhere that some people might not find attractive on some level. Again, I keep going back to, if we put the authentic selves, we wouldn't have makeup on, we wouldn't have extended like none of that, because that's not our authentic self. Our authentic self is what God created us as. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't, the push-up bras, that wouldn't be worn. Like, that's authentic selves. I'm
But
just saying, man.
yeah, but listen, Lamont, why do women? Do you know if you meet plain Jane and then all of a sudden she starts doing stuff like that because she watches your mannerisms when you see women who look like that? Usually, women, you don't grow up thinking, "I can't wait to wear a push-up bra. I can't wait to put these lashes on." No, but you start noticing, oh, you watching TV and Beyonce video come on and your mouth start drooling. Then now your wife going to buy a blonde wig, and now she got on a cowboy hat on top of a horse outside the door. That's your fault. You shouldn't have been acting like that when you saw. I know for myself, for years, anything that I saw that he was attracted to, I felt like I had to be more like that. I would change my hair. I would do different stuff. But I tell everybody that's not healthy. But a lot of times women and men do that. You look at, or if they have an affair and the woman finds out who the woman is, all of a sudden now you're constantly comparing yourself to this other woman. Well, what does she have that I didn't have? Or what does this woman on TV have that I don't have? I know Jimmy. I don't know why he said that about them push-up bras. Everybody need that. Everybody need a good lane Bryant bra. Everybody. Victoria's Secret, whatever you wear. But I'm being serious. I think that I don't back in the 30s and 40s, the women weren't having to do all that. They were walking around with their house coat on, and they got 18 kids. Granddad didn't care nothing about no lashes or grandmama having no makeup on. But guess what? They also didn't have no TV for granddad to be looking at the woman on TV and then looking at grandmama like, now why am I here? That's what happens when he start acting like he don't know why he dealt with you. Now you feel like you got to be or imitate what makes him happy, what attracts his eyes to them.
Yeah, I think it was harder to see the competition back in the day, you know. But Miss Jessica, what are your thoughts on this? And we see this a lot on social media where young ladies, maybe somebody hit them in the inbox, and the male or even maybe a female, the male isn't articulate. He's spelling all kind of crazy ways and don't make no sense at all. So if they're not articulate, or aren't really, they don't come across as maybe they have a higher level of education on the first date. Maybe they're putting words together, sentences that you looking like, what does Joker went to school at? Is that a deal breaker for you? And I want to hear from you, Anitra, Lamont, and then Miss Campbell.
That's not a deal breaker for me, because sometimes you can autocorrect on a text or something, or if we're on the first date and you might not articulate yourself well, that's not really a deal breaker, because you can still have good sense and just not talk well.
Okay.
In my opinion, Mr. Lamont. So that's not a deal breaker for me. Because I'm keep it 100. I can't spell worth 2 cents, but I can add. I'm the best math person. I say that every day. I say I can't spell arithmetic. See, I can't even say it, but I know how to do it. So it's not. I'm not a good speller. So I wouldn't want anybody to count me out because I can't. That's not a turn off for me.
Great point. And Jessica, you know what I mean. You've seen the stuff on social media, right? Where people are screenshot how somebody dropped in their inbox spelling words all kind of ways, and they be like blocked. So that's the reason I asked that question. I was wondering if that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like a lot of people, instead of saying when they always say am instead of saying I'm, they be like am up, am this, and it's like that's not.
Okay.
If I have to read your text message like 12 times, very, very, very slow, and try to figure out what you're talking about, then that might be a deal breaker. But it's just a couple of misspells. But if you like am on my way and you put WY or something, that am does bother me. I hate when people put that am. That kind of like am what, but that's not turn off. That's not a. Just it looks like I said, unless I got to really break now, because I have read some messages and I'm like, bro, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know how to respond to you because I don't know what you're saying. But if I can kind of figure my way out, though, that's not a deal breaker for me.
Okay, Anitra, they're not articulate. They don't, they don't speak really well. Deal breaker. You can work with that, or?
Well, yeah, I can work with that because I prefer the treatment, how he's going to treat me, versus how he talks. Like we can take speech class together. I'm not the best talker, so I'm trying to learn how to articulate my words as well. So we got to do some self-reflection too. And I can work with that. We can work together on that.
Miss Campbell.
Right now it's looking kind of cloudy with a chance of rain in my love life. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna take what I can get these first couple months, and I go from there. Because I'm be honest with you. If I don't know. I don't have a right to be going back and correcting and grading his doggone inbox. I'm trying to go out on a date before the new year come in. I was hoping I had matching pajamas, but it's looking like I'm gonna be matching with somebody's little kids. I'm just gonna match with my nephew. That's gonna be my matching pajamas for the year. Y'all better. I'm telling you, people being too picky. Now the deal breaker is if you're a murderer and you killed somebody. I gotta know what you killed them for. Now I'm not saying I won't date you, but I mean I need to know what you did.
Did you have a good reason?
Yeah, did you have a good reason for killing 2 or 3 people and you didn't been in prison as long as you've been living? Yeah, I need to know that. But as far as grading his inbox, no, if he could say pretty and sexy and spell them 2 words, I might have to give him a chance because it's looking bad out here. I know, Deirdre. It's bad out here, Deirdre.
Oh, Miss Campbell, too real. Lamont, what are your thoughts? Articulate, man. Somebody should be able to speak well. Is that a turn off, sir? Is that a deal breaker?
Man, I am shocked. Like out of all these things that's been named, blood pressure, your sugar level, you've been in jail, all these women like, no, you know, if you ain't not, but on this one, yeah, that's a deal breaker, man. You gotta be able to talk to somebody and have an articulate conversation. Like, so I'm shocked that y'all ladies, all this other stuff, yeah, you know, if he pre-diabetic, I don't think we can go on a second date. Y'all not okay with any of that stuff. Well, no, you're not okay with that, but if he can halfway put a sentence together, you good. You
And
might
he calling you bro the whole night.
Oh my goodness. Come
I
on.
Bruh,
He's not doing a dissertation. We trying to see where we can go. I don't care if it can spell. Can he sign a check? Can you sign your name at the bottom of this check?
Right.
Can you sign your name on the back? Can you write in cursive?
Right.
Do you
No,
know your numbers? You know how to put your account number on here so I can withdraw money and transfer it to my account? What's
Yes,
your
ma'am.
where your VA benefits at? You the red team or blue team? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yes,
Marlon,
ma'am.
Woo, sound like she just need him to do an X, Lamont.
Yeah,
That's
an
slave
X.
days, don't it?
yeah, mark your spot.
Oh man.
Marlon, for me, an intellectual conversation is the most important. All this other stuff we can figure out. But if we can't sit by ourselves and have a stimulating conversation, that is a deal breaker.
That's me too, Lamont. That's real difficult when people can't express thoughts. Now, spelling, like you said, Jessica, that's not I wouldn't be like, oh, why are you spelling stuff wrong? But like to actually be able to talk and actually put your thoughts together and us have a nice conversation where we're enjoying each other. I think that is very important for you to be able to do, because y'all know now, y'all hear lingo now. Heck, people don't even spell words out no more. They just put a bunch of letters together and you got to guess ICGAF. All we don't even write words out no more. So it's like conversation has changed so much. Mr. Nitra, so if you first meet him and he immediately tells you on the first date, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't really have a job right now, I'm just out here, living day to day, and whatever happens, what happens. I ain't got no much money and I am living with my mom, but I do plan on being out within the next 3 months. What are Nitra going to do with that young gentleman? Are you going to see potential? Because, and then a lot of things though too. Let me call y'all ladies out. A lot of times, depending on how that man looks, sometimes he'll get more of a pass than if average attraction than what my wife considered the beautiful ones. So would you say, based on looks, if he fine, you may consider that, or if he just looks okay, you'll be like, no, I'm not going with this, period.
No, I'm not going with that, period. Actions speak louder than words. And then I'll be feeling like, well, maybe you spotted me out because you're trying to get on my benefits. That ain't happening. Just different stuff like that. You trying to move in with me, because your mama getting ready to kick you out. Stuff like that. So you give a person a chance, but we're not in our 20s anymore. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the age. I'm a little more mature now. So if you like mature like I am and above, no. Mm-mm.
Okay. I'll go to you, Lamont. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, this is a thing for women. Women will tolerate a guy without a job that's rapping their whole life or trying to figure out life. Women tolerate that more than you see. A man is already thinks he's going to take care of a spouse or a significant other. So that's already baked in. But it always baffles me, to your point, Marlon, that the less you just say your wife would consider less handsome or attractive, those guys have more of an inroad than anybody on Wall Street, anywhere else. That's what women are attracted to. The drug dealer, the entrepreneur who been washing cars for 20 years and still washing out his yard, that's just the thing. And let me address this one. Now, don't get me wrong when I'm talking about articulate conversation. I think anyone that has any multiple language skills, hey, you already on the top of my list, because multiple languages is one language is tough. English I haven't mastered. So multiple languages, that's a whole different ball game. We can figure
yeah.
that out. But
We deal with that with our neighbors now, so I get her point.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I can't hold that against someone if they're from another country and they're still trying to learn English. I totally get that.
yes, Allie, you do need to watch the full replay. Former Councilwoman Campbell has been off the chain, and I'm embarrassed how she been acting.
All right, Miss Jessica, what are your thoughts? No job, still living with mama, but he ain't fine. He fine.
Ain't nothing worse than a fine dumb man. I don't want no. I've had one of those. It didn't go well. You just was fine and pretty. It was just a little trophy, but you couldn't do nothing. You couldn't do nothing. You was fixing cars. Fixing cars, but all you knew how to do was change oils and change the tire. That ain't fixing cars. So no, that don't work. That don't work.
Jessica cold, man.
Cold-blooded. Marlon.
You ain't doing nothing but fixing oil, boy.
I mean, I know how to change my own oil. Then you can't even do it on a luxury car. You down here with a Honda, like, bro, come on.
Marlon, how did I repeat what you said and your wife says not all women are like that, Lamar? I'm just repeating what you said.
I mean, you said a lot of stuff. What are you referring to, Miss Davis? I need to know what my wife's referring to. But Miss Campbell, what are your thoughts on that? No job, broke, laying home with their mama, but he fine, girl.
I don't care what it looked like. I don't know if y'all remember that cereal Big Mix back in the day. That was like a moose and a monkey and all kind of stuff put together. I don't care what he looked like.
Wow.
If he real pretty and he telling me he sells shoes, but I'm trying to get back on my feet, I don't care nothing about that. I don't go by looks. I don't look like Holly Berry, but I tell you what, Elder Barge, you won't be moving in over here washing cars. Ooh, I don't like it. No, and I'm not doing it.
Why Elder Barge though? Why I got to be Elder Barge?
Because when people look like Elder Barge, girls be like, "Girl, he's so."
Hey, that
fine.
light skin, get him, don't it, Miss Campbell?
No,
Why
ma'am. No,
the
sir. None of the
my wife said
Barges.
not all women will take the pretty dude with no prospects.
Again, I was repeating Marlon Davis.
Well, what I was
It
explaining
sounds
with that
different when you say it, Lamont.
I know.
Well, it's almost like what Lamont would bring up on our other shows. It's like even when you talk about sexual harassment, if depending on how the person's looking, it may not be considered sexual harassment. If they're very attractive and they may say something out the way to you, you may be like more like, go ahead with that, versus them looking like Willie Earl, you know what I'm saying? Like he just got off the paint truck. Now you offended, you know what I'm saying? How dare you say that to me with your ugly self? It just depends on that. If they, that fine thing. And like Lamont was saying, a lot of times the more attractive people are, the more things they get away with. I mean, that's just the way the world is.
Especially for women. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's just be honest with you. This is the first thing you see. So you can't look at somebody and say they have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be interested in something. And let's be real, it has to be something on the exterior first that's going to attract you to that particular individual. But Miss Campbell, I'm gonna go to you. First date, you and the guy talking, and he tells you he has 5 children with 4 different baby mama. Deal breaker or no deal breaker?
Not a deal breaker. I need to know how old they are. I need to know how old they are. And, what was the situation? Were you married to them? Were you engaged to them? Are you too nice? And so they're taking advantage of you and then you leaving and going from girl to girl. Because there are a lot of women that have a lot of kids and a lot of men that have a lot of kids. Now, people been fruitful and multiplying these past couple of years. So, yeah. It's not a deal breaker, but I got to know some logistics to it, though. Yeah.
Okay, so if they are younger, is that a deal breaker? Or are you looking for them to be old and out the house so you ain't got to deal with them? Like, what are you looking for here specifically?
I hate to say this, but it really depends on who he got those kids by. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Some dudes can have some mature. I was the best baby mama in the world. Ex-wife, baby mama, whatever you want to call. I just packed my little baby Barbie book bag up, and him and his mistress, girlfriend, who he left me for, would pick her right up outside the door, and I wave by. It's all in maturity, and it's all in how you handle things. But I'm not cut from the same cloth. My mom raised me different. But I tell people, I say it's really who they have a baby by, because ex-wives and baby mamas and stuff can make your life miserable. These can be like the wicked witch from the west. And
Right.
so you got to know who he's dealt with in his past, because she's going to continue to pop up if those children are young all the time. And she's going to always take precedence over what you all have going on, because that child is a minor.
Okay. Jessica, baby mamas everywhere. What you doing?
Not a deal breaker for me. I don't know about everywhere, but it's not a deal breaker for me. And like Ms. Campbell said, I need to know like what your relationship is with your baby mamas. Like where are their mental state at? Because they do affect your everyday, and they affect your pocket, and they affect as you go on, if you decide to get married, and on and on and on. It's not, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Definitely not a deal breaker.
Okay. Ms. Anitra, then I'll go to you, Lamont. Anitra, what are your thoughts? Say several children, does it depend on the age ranges like Ms. Campbell stated, or, you know, some people don't want to date people with children, period. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, now it does, but I've actually done that. It was 3 kids, 2 baby mamas. I had no problems. They were sweet. We were mature enough to get along with each other. So, but now I don't think I would go that route. Just I'm in a different wavelength right now, you know?
Wavelength.
Yeah. Whatever
you
that
ain't tolerating no more baby mamas? Like, where you at?
I prefer not to. Yeah. Because, you know, my son is due to go to college this upcoming year. I'm going to be an empty nester. I don't want to have to raise any more kids if I don't have to. It's time for me to get back. You know, I'm missing my sleep for 18 years that I've missed. And I hate to sound selfish, but I want to do some things, you know, instead of still serving. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Like go to Ruth Chris, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Wow.
So Lamar, what are your thoughts on that, man? You meeting a woman. I know you're married. I'm just making up scenarios, but you meet a woman in your younger years before you actually met your wife, and she tells you, you know, I got 6 kids with 5 different baby daddy. Lamont running, or because I know men are a little different about this.
Yeah, probably right. That'll be a tough situation dealing with other men about their kids, and especially if you're living in that house with those kids. And you know, the number one rule: no man is disciplining my kids. I'm the only one. You just asking for trouble, right? You just asking for it. So that's a deal breaker.
Okay. All right. So my final one, I want to start off. I'll go back to you, Ms. Campbell. First date, they got bad hygiene. You already done picked up. As soon as they sit down, they wind stink. You like, oh, wait a minute now. This is the first date. You working with them? You're gonna kind of talk to them and say, hey, we can get past this and get you some. What's that one the white woman always be talking about, Lamont, that you don't have to smell it, work up to 2440 Lumi. What is that? Lumi, whatever deodorant. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That woman looked like she stink. But what are your thoughts on that, Ms. Campbell? You working with him, or we're gonna have
to have a conversation about hygiene, and that's one of the things you have at the beginning. Hey, how you doing? Well, you know, I'm kind of particular about hygiene. I go out my way to make sure I bathe and do stuff. I'm gonna kind of slide it in as a joke, you know, and be like, I hope I don't smell funny because you smell funny. I don't know, something like that, but.
But Ms. Campbell, I know you keep it real though. So for somebody out here tonight that may be dealing with that, because people are dealing with that and aren't, you know, being honest with people, how do you have that conversation?
You're gonna have to be like, baby, I love you. I think you're, you know, I'm feeling you, but you know, in order for us to kick it, you gotta do something about your hygiene, because that's not cool. And you know, I just want to, you know, be honest with you and upfront. That's the only way you could tell them, because it's no, y'all cannot be Lincoln and people is stinking.
Let me find out. Lincoln is the word of the night, Lamont.
That's it. They gotta be Lincoln.
All right, Miss Jessica. Deal breaker, no deal breaker. You work with him. What are you gonna do?
I think that's a deal breaker. I've never had that problem, so I think that's a deal breaker. Like if I took the time to bathe, you need to take the time to bathe. Like I'm just saying,
If I took the time to learn the English language, you should take the time to learn the English language. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Lamont, that's not the same, but
That's
can they
different.
spell pretty, sexy?
Beautiful.
Say that's it. That good morning, beautiful text that he probably didn't text
Beautiful.
12 other women.
Yeah, he just copy and paste it.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can do the hygiene thing, because that's a different issue, especially at my age. You got a whole type of different issue. If you haven't figured out hygiene in your 40s, we have a deeper discussion to have.
Yeah, I like I said, a lot of our young ladies at work, they just put anything in the chat sometimes. You know how these young folk talk, and she was saying that the guy that she was dating, his breath was really bad, but she didn't know how to tell him. And they've been on like several dates, so she kept going on dates, but he was wondering why she didn't want to kiss him, yada yada yada. So I was just thinking, like, how do you bring that up without taking someone's integrity, but at the same time, you're gonna have to do something, because why are you continuing to deal with that, in your face every time, and why are you still going out with him? So it just didn't make sense. But Nitra, thoughts on that? Can you work with it, or especially if he's fine?
Yeah, I think so, because sometimes it's a medical issue, Sometimes it's coming from the gut,
From the gut,
yeah. Everybody had like some bad, times not to seem desperate, but that's the truth. And then you don't know like how you are, you know what I'm saying? So they might be afraid to tell you there's something going on with you. So, and not you personally, but
Coming from the gut, Lamont.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
deep.
pretty serious.
In your gut.
You have to give it some time,
So if you have any of y'all, well, I know Miss Campbell didn't, but you experienced that before, Nitra? Have you ever had to have a conversation like that, or you hadn't experienced that?
I don't know. I was just making some suggestions. I mean, I have experienced that, but made some suggestions and stuff. It's kind of like if you present it in a loving way, people will start to catch on and understand. But if they never catch on, you're gonna have to study how to gravitate.
So what does in a loving way looks like? Honey, you gonna wash today? What does that look like?
It's some stuff that soap and water cannot get rid of. That's why I say come from the gut. I'll probably say prebiotics, probiotics. There's a whole bunch of different stuff,
You can always be like, have you seen the gastro doctor lately?
That's
you want to recommend anything like that?
Exactly.
Start the conversation that way, I would think.
Yeah, I think so.
Lamont just looking so confused out there. Lamont, what are your thoughts, man? Bad hygiene, deal breaker?
I think, let me start by saying, one, I think we all have a natural odor to us. But sometimes that is a medical thing that needs to be resolved. I agree you could have that conversation in a way that without hurting someone's feelings. We're adults though, without hurting someone's feelings, but have that conversation. But will that person receive that after the first time, or does it take them 40 times to get that conversation? My puzzling look, I'm still on the ladies say they can date a guy that's not articulate, but all this other stuff, is a deal breaker. Like he can be slow as a box of rocks, but everything else is a deal breaker.
Ms. Campbell say just sign that check over.
And military benefits.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Don't forget the military benefits. And if he worked for the federal government or state entity and is close to retirement, because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, after 23 years, I ain't got time to be starting over and you ain't got nothing going for yourself. So any of your friends that are veterans that look for it's common.
Miss Campbell.
All right. Well, what I want to hear from each person, I'll start with you, Miss Jessica. We kind of hit our final thoughts as we wrap up. So what we kind of took away from the show today, first date deal breakers. If you could kind of give somebody any advice, Jessica, like who maybe on the dating scene or they experience some of these things we kind of talked about tonight, someone trying to navigate through some of these things, what is kind of some of your best advice that you would tell them to do if they are in the dating scene now, maybe experiencing some of these topics that we talked about tonight?
First, I would say know yourself. Make sure you're worthy of being dated, because a lot of people want this, they want a man. I want a man, I want a man. But would you date a man that acts like yourself?
I
Like,
like
that's
that.
the first thing. That's the first thing you need to figure out. Know what you is. Don't settle for less. You know what you want. Try to achieve what you want. Don't if he smell and you don't want smelly guys, don't say, well, he cute and he go to church on Sunday, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep on dating him because he just a little funky. Don't do stuff like that. Don't make excuses. Like, know what you want, execute what you want, and know yourself. The best thing I ever did was make myself to the point where I was eligible to be dated. Like, I wouldn't mind dating myself. So as long as you are happy with yourself and you know what you want and what your expectations are, you should attract that you should attract that kind of energy back. If you put it out, it should attract back to you. Of course, there's always going to be some, some you up or some of those am up, them type people that them gonna come. But if you put that energy out consistently and you're consistent with it, then that energy should come back to you. It might take you a while. Lord, it might take you a while, but it should come back to you.
And Lamont, Jessica say he funky, but he ain't funky. You know what I'm saying? So
like drunk.
It's a difference.
Yeah, I can do something drinking, but not drunk. Huh?
I'm just saying, y'all knew what I meant.
I know. You knew he's gonna mess with you. Ms. Campbell, final thoughts on the show tonight. What are your kind of takeaways or any advice you may have for someone that's in the dating scene right now? I know you already talked about prior to the show that it's tough out here. So what would you say to someone watching tonight? Best advice if they run into some of these red flags that we talked about tonight?
Communication is the key. You gotta know your value before you start dealing with different people. There's a lot of manipulators and a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of men and women that both are master manipulators. So you need to be able to notice red flags, and you got to be okay with being alone. That's one thing that I've learned these past couple of months. I may not end up with Prince Charming, by Christmas, and we may not have on matching pajamas Christmas night, but that's okay. It's always next Christmas. That's my advice. Mm-hmm.
She gonna have Mayweather. Lamont can't read.
But is he rich though?
Yeah, he rich. Anitra, final thoughts.
I think self-reflection is key. Try to heal yourself first. I think Jessica mentioned some of that instead of jumping from relationship to relationship or whatnot. Also, I think we need a little more patience. We're in the cancel culture, and I think we as mature adults do that as well. Like, one thing that makes you mad, you're ready to go. So, kind of like work with them a little bit so they can work with you a little bit. Because remember, we all fall short. We all have faults and flaws, and don't judge a book by its cover. And just pray about it and just keep on keeping on. That's it.
Okay. And I'll give my final thoughts and I'll have you wrap up, Lamont. I will say, thanks once again for everybody for tuning in tonight. We appreciate all the feedback. This was a very funny show. I really enjoyed myself. I would say I love what Jessica stated that, would you date yourself? I see where a lot of these situations where a lot of us have set standards that we can't even meet ourselves, and we want people to rise to that occasion, and we're not even at that standard. So how do you think that relationship is going to last if you're not even there, but you're wanting all of these different things out of other people that you can't even give? So I think we need to think about those things before, we jump into these relationships. You want the man that's 6'2", 6-pack, in shape, got all of this money, drive a car, got his own house, pay all my bills. I should be able to do whatever I want to do with my money. And I'm not saying all women are like that, so don't hear this, but it happens a lot. And that's where that pressure comes from. But why can't it be the same way? Why can't you be able to do the same stuff and bring everything to the table that he's bringing to the table? Because I tell you what, if you get someone like that, and guess what? If you're not bringing that to the table, that relationship is going to automatically be lopsided. As soon as y'all fall out, guess what you're going to be reminded of? I pay this. I'm paying all of this. You making just this, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but it almost like you ask for so much stuff to you even start out giving yourself a disadvantage, if that makes sense, in that relationship, because you're not even financially on that same page that he is. Or vice versa, even with women. You have men that look for women to use, and they're comfortable with, like me and Lamont always talk about, sitting at home playing the PlayStation 5, eating cereal all day in their boxes, and she out working, and he's okay with her doing everything. I could never do that. My wife would tell you I'm not built like that. But I would say, just make sure that you work on you, because once again, you get all that from these particular individuals, but they could go at any time. And then what are you going to do then? How would you survive? If you put all of your faith in that one person that you're dependent, wanting to do everything for you, and what if something happens to them? Where are you at then? Do you start over and continuously do this? And as y'all can see, a lot of those relationships do not last because they're not really built on love. They're built on what you can do for me. So I would say, a lot of these things that we saw tonight, any of the red flags that you kind of see at the beginning, just be honest with yourself. Don't be so desperate and lonely that you just do anything to be with anybody just to say you have anyone, because you will end up with regret. It's like Ms. Campbell said, you may have to be lonely for a while, but at least you are, like Jessica stated as well, in nature, at least you are saying, hey, this is what I will and what I won't tolerate. And if you, and once again, you can say those things, but guess what a lot of women and men don't do? We still don't stick to it. We'll say, this is what I won't tolerate, but then we'll still allow it. So then now you're teaching someone how to treat you. So teach someone how to treat you, but stick to your standards. And if they can't rise to that occasion, hey, you may have to wait to find someone. Are they going to be perfect? No. But at the same time, if they respect you and they respect your wishes, I think you can go a long way. And lastly, I would say, don't start out being someone that you're not. We all are guilty of that in relationships. We try to impress each other. Like we talked about earlier, I'm taking you to, root Chris every Tuesday night, knowing I can't afford this, knowing I can't keep this up. I'm getting you used to this. Hey, this is who I am. And it's not really who I am. So when that falls off, that's when it's like, okay, what happened to this person? What happened to the person that was having sex with me every single night of the week? Knowing you can't do that forever. What happened to this person who was, taking me out every place and everywhere 5 times a week? We at the club. If you know that's not who you are, just be upfront with that. Nothing wrong with trying to impress people, but just be honest upfront. And I think relationships would do so much better. I'll pass it to you, Lamont.
This has been a great show. A lot of information, like what our own personal standards are, things we would tolerate. And a lot of things what our standards are is how we were brought up. Like our parents play a large part in what we tolerate and don't tolerate, even though we sometimes try to move away from that. But what they've set kind of as the tone in what they tolerated also sets the tone for what you would tolerate to a certain degree. So I want to thank everyone for joining us and watching. Great discussion. I'm hoping that former Councilwoman Campbell is able to get the matching pajamas by Christmas. And Christmas is like 5 weeks from now. So I don't know who you going to
next Christmas. Next Christmas.
Oh, next Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I gotta filter through all the people that are murderers and can't read and spell and wash cars and sell shoes on the side. I got to filter through them first. Give me a break. Right. Still selling bootleg movies and flash drives. Man.
Again, I want to thank all of our special guests. This has been a great discussion, great show to talk about, because it's real. Yeah. Like all kinds of relationships folks involved in, regardless if it's a significant other, it can be co-workers, it can be a family friend, it can be family members. When you're dealing with relationships, like what things are true deal breakers in those relationships. I want to thank everyone. Marlon, thank you for leading us. Thank you, Anitra, Jessica, Ms. Campbell, for all you've done to enlighten this show. Man, this has been a funny show. And, we have to sometimes just keep the main thing and not forget what's the main thing. So for all the folks out there, please enjoy your evening. Have a great week. And let me remind everyone, we're in the holiday season. I think I can officially say that. Not everyone is happy during this time. Some people have lost loved ones. Some people financially set back. Some jobs are laid off. The economy is not that great. So please try to definitely show love to each other and try to heal broken relationships in this season. One of the things we probably all figured out over these last 3 years of COVID, that tomorrow is not promised for any of us. And I don't care how healthy you look, how good your teeth and hygiene, you can check up out of here very, very quickly in this world. So thank you. Have a blessed and safe week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
All right.